It is my honor and duty, my love, to speak to you about the philosophical system of unity. And in order to do this, we'll have to understand Ra's use of the term distortion. This starts with the understanding of the original creative process. It is interesting to note that if we assume Ra's description of creation to be correct, both the creationalist and evolutionalist are correct, and they should not be arguing. According to Ra, the actual process is that of a created evolution. In session 27, recorded on February 21st, 1981, Ra says, Intelligent infinity has a rhythm or flow as of a giant heart, beginning with the central sun, as you would think or conceive with this, the presence of the flow inevitable as a tide of beingness without polarity, without finity, the vast and silent, all beating outward, focusing outward until the focuses are complete. The intelligence or consciousness of foci have reached a state where their, shall we say, spiritual nature or mass calls them inward, 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 inward until all is coalesced. There is no difference between potential or kinetic in unity. The basic rhythms of intelligent infinity are totally without distortion of any kind. The rhythms are clothed in mystery, for they are being itself. From this undistorted unity, however, appears a potential in relation to intelligent energy. There are many things which will be spoken about in these video series, which are far beyond comprehension. But perhaps we can get a little idea of how things are, and by these clues help ourselves to reach a point of someday becoming aware of the meaning behind the descriptions. The matrix underlying all phenomena seems to be consciousness. The material worlds and beings are a product of consciousness. The way that I understand the start of the universe, from Ra's description, is that, firstly, we have pure consciousness. Undifferentiated, infinite, totally unified. At this point, we have only the one self, the creator, undivided. In order to experience and know the self, this infinite consciousness, or intelligent infinity, plans to divide into many selves. Before this process starts, there are no distortions of the one consciousness. Distortions are the product of this subdividing using the first distortion, total freedom of choice. The principle of free will is the first of the distortions from unity, and therefore is of primary importance. All other distortions are a product of this free will and are a necessary part of an infinitely varying experience. In session 28, collected on February 22nd, 1981, Ra says, In each beginning there is the beginning from infinite strength. Free will acts as a catalyst. Beings begin to form the universes. Consciousness then begins to have the potential to experience. The potentials of experience are created as a part of intelligent energy and are fixed before experience begins. However, there is always, due to free will acting infinitely upon the creation, a great variation in initial responses to intelligent energy's potential. Thus, almost immediately, the foundations of the, shall we call it, hierarchical nature of beings begins to manifest as some portions of consciousness or awareness learned through experience in a much more efficient manner. We wish to establish that we are truly humble messengers of the Law of One. We can speak to you of our experiences and our understandings and learn in limited ways. However, we cannot speak in firm knowledge of all the creations. We know only that they are infinite. We assume an infinite number of octaves. However, it has been impressed upon us by our teachers that there is a mystery-clad unity of creation in which all consciousness periodically coalesces and again begins. Thus, we can only say we assume an infinite progression through we understand it to be cyclical in nature and, as we have said, clad in mystery.